All right. Here we go. So, welcome to Talking with Famous People. I am host Dan here with Eric Strauss.
That's me.
And we are going to talk about something that doesn't really come up probably very much on your channel, which is what kind of gift do you buy for an ENTP? If you are going to buy a gift, or do you make something by hand, or do you not give a gift at all? There's all kinds of possibilities. So maybe a question I could start with you, Eric, is what would you say was a really good gift that you've received where you were just like, holy shit, this is amazing. I'm really happy with this.
I got a Spyderco knife from my ex-father-in-law that I still have and still use and still appreciate. I got a gift from Brittany, which was a microphone that it no longer, it broke at a certain point, but I used it for a long time. It was very much appreciated. And it's another gift that comes to mind. I'm going to ask to reserve the right to revisit this question if another gift comes to mind. Those are the two that come to mind right now.
So what was it about those two gifts that you really, what was it? Why do you remember those gifts?
Long-term utility. Like, in other words, the gift is both appreciated, but I remember it because it persists in my life for a long time. It's hard to find an object that's going to be a persistent feature in my life that I don't already have in my life. That's like a big, finding a piece of ground like that you can stake out into an old adult's life and, you know, suddenly introduce them to something that they don't already have that makes a big impact is hard to do, you know?
So would these, as seen on TV, multi-tools be a good gift for an ENTP, where it's like something that can do a bunch of shit and you can grab for it if you need it?
It's possible. The thing is, to a certain extent, there are some kind of gifts that you'd have to particularize to the specific ENTP based on what they have and what kind of stuff they do. And there are other kind of gifts that are pretty generally going to be appreciated by an ENTP, although even then, you'd probably have to particularize amongst the generalized ones a little bit to pick the right one.
Sure.
But like,
what about
go ahead.
What about funny gifts? Because I've been leaning in my gift ideas on my website. I've been leaning on the idea of picking out things that would make you laugh or roll your eyes or whatever, and I show them to my son, who's an ENTP, and he gets a kick out of it. But I'm curious to know what you think about if somebody picked out something for you that was weird, a weird gift.
Okay, well, I mean, it usually doesn't work. People try to do that fairly often. As an ENTP, I get gifts like, oh, this is quirky, you'll like this. And consistently, the person has an inadequately nuanced understanding of cool, basically. To put it simply enough, you have to be basically an INFJ or an ENTP to successfully pull that. I'm actually quite surprised. My dad, who never gets it right, got me this hat, which isn't so terribly wrong, really, in Hawaii.
Sure.
It's not the hat I probably would have chosen, or a hat I would have chosen. Like, he misunderstands the fact that I wear one hat that is particularly colorful doesn't mean I like colorful hats, right?
Right.
It's more nuanced than that.
Right. So how can somebody who's got an ENTP in their life dig in and figure out what's going to be something that they're not going to hate and not going to want to throw away and want to keep for a long time?
Okay, so I'm going to talk briefly about the shirt notion that I've discussed somewhat in a recent video, which is ENFP and ENTP shirts, the difference between the two of them. In Hawaii, I saw two shirts, one of which I would call an ENTP shirt and one of which I would call an ENFP shirt. The ENFP, it was by a guy probably my age, I don't know, but with like long hair, you know, like balding with long hair. And his shirt said vegan AF. And basically, that's an ENFP who's going, this is my core value, and I'm going to present it in an edgy fashion. The ENTP shirt I saw said, what would G.G. Allen do? Now, for anyone who's not familiar with G.G. Allen, you can certainly Google it, but he's a very extreme individualist punk artist who sang horrible misogynist and racist lyrics and all sorts of, it was just basically awful, and he died at 31 of it.
Oh, I actually do know who this guy is now that you mention him. I just looked him up. I did spend some time looking into this guy before, so
Yeah,
he
so
was even on, I think he was even on Jerry Springer, wasn't he? And it was like a very shocking kind of thing.
I don't know. He's sort of a shock performance artist guy, and he
Yeah,
died at age 31 or something of a heroin overdose. And anyway,
sure.
what would G.G. Allen do? The ENTP wearing that shirt is not trying to say, this is my core real beliefs, and I'm going to present them in an edgy
Right,
way. They're saying, my
right,
core real beliefs doesn't attach to things. I take a detached approach to things. I'm not actually advocating in favor of G.G. Allen's ways or anything. I'm making a joke about having a sort of universal guide like what would Jesus do, but applying it to
sure.
somebody who's an absolute reprobate, you know? And it just
Yes,
demonstrates the FI polar. It's like we don't actually care about things. We care more about being cool, right?
right, right. So it seems to be it to me the way that I seem to see this. I mean, I have ENFP friends, and the way that I would put it is ENFPs seem to be about irreverence with a message, and ENTPs perhaps would be irreverence for its own sake, or to be funny, or
Irreverence
or
is
for
the message.
or irreverence is the message, right? Maybe that's the way I would put it.
Yeah, so if you find the right kind of irreverence, but it's got to be something like that. That's the perfect level of obscurity. If it's not obscure enough the thing you're referencing to, then it's
Right,
not cool. And if it's too
right,
obscure, then it's pointless because no one's going to get it, or it's still not cool because then it's precious. It's got to be
right.
the right distance and time, and
Yeah,
it's got to impact across all these NIFE frameworks. Because ultimately, the ENTP who's most realized, in my opinion, is the one who's fetishized NIFE somewhat. Those are the areas where
okay.
we need to manifest ourselves most in order to
Mhm.
realize the complements to our nature. Namely, the complement to NE is NI, and the complement to TI is FE.
Right. So, what do you think that the ENFP is fetishizing in that sense?
NETI. So, in other words, whereas the ENTP who's most well realized is most like an INFJ, and the INFJ who's most realized is most like an ENTP, so too with INTJ and ENFP. The ENFP who's most realized is most like an INTJ, and the INTJ who's most realized is most like an ENFP for an
Mm,
for that type. Obviously, not as much of an ENFP as an actual ENFP, but
sure,
nevertheless, you
sure.
see what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah. They're exercising all of their lesser used functions to a competent degree, basically.
Yeah, they're being less unbalanced in their native stack because the thing is, you
Sure,
can do
sure.
limited work on your back stack. You know, there's not much you can do. Metacognition helps. You build some workarounds. I feel like I at least recognize the domain of or dimensions of like where it has the jurisdiction of FI now, even if I don't naturally think about it very much. You know, at least it helps a little bit
Mhm.
metacognition, but you can't really do anything directly with your back stack very much.
Sure. Or I find in my case, I end up having to automate a lot of it just because I can't. I I have to build systems to automate my extroverted thinking, for example. Otherwise, nothing gets done. So I have to have everything come to me. I have to have calendar events and you know lots of systems to make sense of it all. So
Yeah.
so I'm interested to show you some examples of stuff that I've come up with, ideas that I've had, and I want you to rate them. We'll say, uh, 5 whatevers out of whatever. You can be creative with it, and let me know how I did. And unless you have anything else you wanted to talk about before we jump into that.
Well, I would just sort of summarize what I went over as there seems to be two areas of thing where you might be successful buying ENTP's gifts. One of it being tools that are useful based on what they like to do, basically, or the other one
Hmm.
being things that are actually cool. But there's a decent chance if you're not an ENTP or an INFJ, you're not going to successfully pick that.
Right, because you have to be able to You have to be able. I mean, I think introverted intuition and extroverted feeling. I think ENFJs could be okay at this too. It's
True.
all about knowing what other people like. If you can being able to put your own feelings aside and say, what will this other person like, regardless of how I feel about it.
Right, a disinterested calculus about feelings, which is the expertise, particularly of INFJ, but also, you're right, ENFJ is very confident in that as well. All right, so let's take a look.
Where I think before we do that, where I think ENFJs might get in trouble might be in the overbearing aspects of extroverted feeling. May try to force something upon someone else and say, you're gonna like this, you know.
Well, I think the ENFJ inherently, their shortcoming in this area is they forget to account for the particularist. INFJ will find the universal, but they'll find the universal that accounts for the particular. The SI serves their NI. Their NI is more nuanced and more successful in its holistic capturing of what that person wants, because it incorporates a little bit of the SI as well as just the NIFE. And it's that SI polar that means ENFJs kind of just dismiss who you actually personally are in favor of their archetype of you.
Right. Yep, that sounds right. That sounds right by my experience. Okay, so I sent you a link over the chat in this over in Whereby.
Oh, I see it.
So
I see it. Sure.
Yep.
All right, let's check it out.
So I've got it up on my screen, and you can feel free to tell me like where you're clicking and
Okay, cool.
what you're looking at.
All right.
So how about we start? How about we start with the? Well, I'll tell you what. You pick out the ones you want to talk about, and because there's a bunch of them on this page.
Let me give you my meow about the meow. Here we go. All right. So this is this website. Sure. I pretend like you're not here. I'm just a guy doing random critique of websites or whatever. Okay.
Sure.
All right. So here's this guy, Typology Gifts. I don't know who the hell he thinks he is, but meow, all this sort of other stuff like that. ENTP clever inventor. Now, the thing is, we often are referred to as inventors and stuff, but ENTPs, in my opinion, are not exactly inventors as conventionally understood. Like physical inventors, we're more inventors metaphysically. But it doesn't necessarily invalidate the word. It's just a notion I thought I'd mention. ENTPs have imaginations.
And just to sidebar real quick on that, what I did was I looked up all these different MBTI lists that described the different types by name, and I analyzed what maybe 10 or 15 different ones called each type, and I found the unifying words between all of them and chose those as my. So that was kind of how I was like, I'm going to find the agreement between all these different sources. So.
Okay, so far I have to say I'm very impressed with your choices. I have to say that.
Okay.
Let me close this thing. I'm surprised. I like the edible anus chocolates. I like nature and shit as a t-shirt. I could totally see myself wearing that shirt.
Sure.
This little guy here, there's something inherently appealing about it. I kind of want it. I'm not sure what it exactly is or does, but I like it.
Just an ugly toy, basically.
Nothing is. Here's a funny gift. Shit, I'm getting a phone call. Let's see what's going on. I hope I didn't miss something. Let me call her back. It's Rachel Lapalosa. She's my girlfriend. Hey, baby, what's going on?
I'm contemplating stopping the video right now.
Anything at all. I want anything at all. I'm in the middle of the video, so I'd like to get off this phone as quickly as possible. Okay, cool. All right, love you, bye. All right. There, that's not too long. That's not too bad.
Nah, that wasn't bad.
I tried to make it as fast as I could.
We got to do good radio here.
Okay, right. We don't want dead air. All right, so look, let me move on. ENTP memes. I'm not sure how that fits in with the gifts thing. Is that a gift?
Oh no, that's just I made a page. I've been trying to work in other kinds of content into the website so that it's not just all the gift recommendations.
But you
Just
should put
for
it in its own section or something. Like have a little sidebar with the things that aren't gifts, you know?
yeah, okay, that's a
Otherwise,
good
it's a little
suggestion.
confusing. Okay.
Okay,
Hot
good
air
thought.
electricity generator. I'm extremely curious about what this is. I want it. I don't even know what it is yet, and I still want it.
It could be completely useless, and you'd want it probably, right?
Iron Man Extremis.
Now that was actually picked out by an INFJ friend of mine that I had helped me with a couple of these. Let's see, the ones that he helped me with were the Iron Man one, the comedy. Let's see, from the hot air generator to the Loki one.
Is it a
Those look
book?
like the one. Yeah, it's a graphic novel.
Okay. See, I'm not sure about other NPs, but I much prefer non-graphic novels.
That's interesting because my son much prefers graphic novels because he doesn't. I mean, it's not that he doesn't like to read words on a page, but if it's not engaging enough, he has ADHD too. So I mean, I'm sure that has
Well,
something to do
sure. I
with
mean,
it.
you got to pick good books.
Yeah.
UCB Improv Manual. Interesting. I could see myself being happy to receive that. Not buying it myself, but being happy to receive it. Being happy to look
Okay.
at it. You know, I'd be interested in looking at it.
Sure.
Attack plan, notepad, whatever.
Should I take that out?
Well, I mean, my take on it is that's the sort of thing that I would normally say is the sort of thing somebody else thinks is clever, they give to me, and I just kind of roll my eyes. Like, don't put me in a box
Yeah.
like that, you know?
Sure.
Lightsaber
All right. That's
umbrella.
good to know.
It depends how real it looks. If it really looks like you got a lightsaber and nobody else has one of those things, then yes. But if it looks shitty, then no. I don't know. It depends if it works, how well it works.
For
Electronics
sure.
repair toolkit. I like that. I would definitely want that. Not because I repair electronics, because I like all those little things in there. I would definitely like
Okay.
that for sure.
Okay.
And it's like the sort of thing I don't need to have any particular use for it. It's these little things are neat, you know.
Sure.
They're inherently neat little things, little tweezers, little pokers, little packers, you know, little stabbers.
Yeah.
They're neat little things. And every ENTP, every proper ENTP has a cool little things box or multiple cool little things drawers. Now, I don't know if they'd ever really much leave the cool little things drawer, but it doesn't matter. Even if you already have something like that,
Right.
you still want that. Now, this next one, Bulletproof Lowball whiskey glass. Can you really stick your cigarette in there like that, and it'll like not get ash in your drink?
No, I think they've put a bullet into the glass as a kind of a decorative element to it.
See, I don't like that because what I was hoping it was so much better.
You were hoping it would hold a cigarette, basically.
Right, basically, yeah. You could put a cigarette in, you know, like have it tilt you down a little bit, be a little scooper outer part that goes into the glass like that. But
Yeah.
and you can ash in there, or you could just put your cigarette out in there, or you could just let your cigarette sit there and it'd go out because it would be like cigarette sized, the
Mm-hmm.
hole, you know. And then
Yeah.
when it goes out, you can pull it out and you light it again. It would just go out because of lack of air, you know.
Yeah. So maybe it's something. I'll pick out something a little more useful. How about that?
Right. I'm just thinking the only reason this is gonna definitely lose for me is because the thing I thought it was better than the thing it is.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
Loki Journey into Mystery Omnibus, is that a book?
It's another graphic novel.
Okay, you got two graphic novels. I don't know about that. It's assuming too much about ENTPs. I think. I don't think necessarily a strong link between graphic novels and ENTP.
I think I'll pull one of them out.
I like that chemistry count. That's funny.
Would you drink out of that?
Yeah, I would like that. Let's see if I got any. Yes. Let me make sure on tab room.
I'm pretty sure you're gonna like the Make Money book when you look at what it is.
Okay, current. Just making absolutely sure I'm not missing any sort of round. No, I'm not. Okay, so back over here. Back to ENTP guess. The next one is Deluxe Asian Snack Box. Let me look at this thing. You know, I bet a any ENTP under 40 would be into this probably. Like if you were to get
At a certain age, you get less curious about those kinds of things.
SI, you know, SI gets stronger as you get older. That means you get more attached to your familiar shit, right?
Yeah.
So, dinosaur dictionary
Yep.
art, rar. Huh. Not bad. Not bad. Not terrible. I would be like, if I received that, I'd be like, huh, that's an interesting thing to get me. Thank you. That's interesting. I think I would say that.
Sure.
I make money in your spare time in not legitimate ways.
Right. It's basically a book on how to commit crime.
Right. Yeah, I think that that would probably appeal to a lot of HPs. Of course, Street Fighter 2 arcade machine. Yeah, except the thing is, like, what arcade machine would I want? I want Karate Champ.
I don't know Karate Champ.
Oh, it's the best of all the arcade games. Everybody knows that. Now, lastly, we've got Fuck My Liver Hip Flask. If I were a drinker, I'd like that. You know, I'm not a drinker anymore, but I used to be a drinker. Back when I was a drinker, I would have liked that. I gotta say, you did a pretty kick-ass job here. I'm impressed.
You got two more. You got to click the button. There's two more to look at.
More gifts? See, I would assume that the more gifts would take me to non-ENTP gifts.
Oh, okay. So I should be clear that I should make it say more ENTP gifts.
Right. Like I would assume that button was going to take me back to the page where it went to all. Like pick your type you want to go to. You know.
Got it.
I'm saving up for some good weed tin bank. Yeah.
Unfortunately, they discontinued this one, but there are other similar ones.
Put drug money here. Whatever, I'm late anyway. That's a funny sentence in general, but the clock is just too precious. It's too SFJ. It's like
precious?
Look, it's cute. Yeah, it's an ESFJ or ISFJ's way of celebrating their third or fourth slot NE. That is not an NE Dom's way of celebrating their NE.
Okay, that's good to know. So you don't think you would be like you would kind of roll your eyes at that one?
I bet you that would work well for ESFJ probably, or ISFJ.
Okay.
ESFJ is not actually going to be late, but they're NI polar, and so they're the ones who will buy shit like that because they think that's fun. That's fun FE thing, and whether or not it has actually makes any logical sort of NI sense is irrelevant. Yeah, maybe put that in ESFJs. Oh my God, that's so fun! I cannot believe you got me this. Can't you picture the ESFJ enjoying that so much?
Yeah, my mom's an ESFJ. I don't know. I think how would she take it? I don't know. She's way more traditional, you know. So, like, I think a lot of like more clever stuff kind of goes over her head. So I think it has to be more like on the nose, kind of. I mean, I think whatever I'm late anyway is kind of on the nose. So
Maybe
you're
ISFJ.
probably
Maybe only ISFJ.
maybe now I'm thinking my best friend's an ISFJ. I think he appreciates stuff with like that clock doesn't have a lot of utility, to be honest.
It does tell
It, it,
time. You just have to look at the
it
hands.
it does tell time, but it assumes that you. I hate whenever I look at a clock and I can't tell.
And it doesn't have numbers.
It doesn't have either the notches or if it has the notches, that's okay. But even that, I kind of like, okay, it's three notches down or whatever. But maybe that's just me. So I don't know. I like my best friend, ISFJ. He appreciates like obviously things that have to do with his interests, but like a really good gift that I gave him like last year was uh, a panini maker, because now he can very low effort make higher quality sandwiches for his family and stuff like that. So
Panini
yeah,
maker, right.
panini maker.
Mm.
I should put that in the ISFJ gifts actually, because it went over really well. I actually like I bought a panini maker for myself and it was a good gift. So maybe I should just put panini maker across the board, all 16 types. Get yourself a panini maker.
You know what I would like as a gift is
Yeah.
instructions on how to build a low-cost backyard kiln.
Okay. Is that I don't know if that's a thing you can get on Amazon. I'm sure there's a book on it.
Maybe there's like a kit
Yeah.
that
So you like
it like
you
comes with
like
a metal
kits?
door or something. But I like a kit that doesn't involve much. Like most of the shit you have to use, you
Okay.
have to have around you. That's the. And I thought if I can get my own bricks, I can get bricks, right? I don't really know how to build a kiln. I'm assuming you need to get a
Right.
little metal door, right? So the
Sure.
kit would come with a metal door and instructions
Hmm.
or some sort of hardware that shows how it goes onto the brick or something. And then it
Would you
tells you how to
what would
build
you
up
use
the bricks.
Would you use it for like casting stuff or cooking stuff, or what would you use it for?
uh, I'd make pots or something. I don't know. I'd play around with it. I'd put various things in there and see what happens. But the thing is,
Okay.
here's why I think this is important: is because left to their own devices, ENTPs will never seek instructions for something like that. If somebody else gives them
Mhm.
instructions, they'll start reading the thing because that's what we do. And before we know it,
Yeah.
we've read the whole thing, and now we understand something that we didn't know before. But because we
Right.
countervalue TE so much, we'd much rather play around with trying to make our own kiln without trying to figure out how to do it first. That
Yeah.
it's like the most more aware than the person you're giving them to gift you could give an ENTP is instructions on how to do something that they would enjoy knowing how to do.
Okay.
And I can imagine somebody
So
selling a kiln kit out there. It's got a couple of hardware pieces plus instructions, use
sure.
bricks this size, whatever.
So would it be would you have a preference to just getting the instructions or getting the instructions plus the materials to build the thing?
If the kit was small, in other words, you only need this box of shit to make a
Yeah.
kiln big enough to cook small pots in, provided you fried your
Hmm.
own bricks, especially if you could assemble and disassemble it. Like that would be great, but if you couldn't, that's fine too. But um, then I would definitely want the kit. You know,
Hmm.
if it's a huge bunch of shit, then I don't want it at all. It's like I need to be able to
Right.
just get regular bricks at the store. I don't have to. I don't want to get them special bricks.
Right. And I guess the thing I've noticed with my son is if it's something like Legos, he can stick it out to the end. But if it's something that's far more complex with far more moving parts, then he'll lose interest partway through
How
it.
old is your son?
He's 12.
Okay, we do get a little bit better at that. The thing to note is this: even if we don't ever build the kiln or do the thing, at some
Yeah,
point, knowing how to do that will come in handy, and
sure.
we'll take that and do something equivalent-ish, and and be very happy that we had that knowledge. But it's the sort of thing that we always will forget to seek out for ourselves, really.
I'll tell you what I got him for Christmas that he really liked. He's into this show. The viewers at home may know what the show is, but you may not know. You may not have heard of it, but it's called JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And he's really into this show. So I got him stuff, related to that. I got him all of the different characters have these different pieces of jewelry, and so I got him like a box set that had like 10 different pieces of these specific pieces of jewelry that the characters had, and he loved it because he has friends who are obsessed with it, and he was able to give a few of those away to his friends and keep it for himself and whatever, and that went over really well.
Sounds like third slot FE. That's his reasoning. Yeah. It's like that doesn't have to necessarily be a person's reasoning for appreciating a gift.
Well, I think he liked it because he's obsessed with the show, but he also I saw what he did with the gift. He didn't just keep it to himself. He wanted to use it. He wanted to give pieces of it away.
It seems like ultimately everything boils down to that for ENTPs is to the extent that if something can't be made to pay off socially in some way, it's like it has very little value until you get in a intimate relationship. That's like the alternative to things that have social value is FI, I guess. Things that don't have any social value. Things that are precious to you, independent of whether anybody's watching or how it'll play.
Well, thanks for reviewing all my products, my ideas. That was really helpful. I think I can improve the list now a little bit. And who knows, maybe we can get together at some point and look at a different type. And maybe we'll get Rachel to look at the INFJ gift or something, and we'll see what she thinks of that.
Dan, let me say that's great NIFE there. Kind of bring this to a close. It's good instincts, good timing. Yeah, I agree with you about the Rachel thing. And viewers, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. And Dan, great job, really. I am surprised because I thought I believe me, I have a lot of faith in INFJ's equivalent metaphysicianry aesthetics and stuff, but I was still dubious. I should learn not to be so dubious anymore because at first I was dubious when Rachel wanted to play me some song. I'd be like, okay, I'll listen to it. But she's you guys are usually right, and you pretty much nailed them. So good job. Thank you for including me in this and making this happen. And viewers at home, thank you for watching. Don't forget to eat plenty of cheese and go visit Dan's exciting shop, MBTIGifts.com.
Oh no, it's Typology Gifts.
I'm sorry, Typology Gifts.
The MBTI people came knocking at my door.
Typologygifts.com.
Yeah. Yes, typologygifts.com. And please come subscribe to my channel because I am making lots of videos. So
word up, word up, word up, word up, word up, word up, word up.
Thanks for